What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Daniel SantiMama, and today I've got an interesting video talking about the Xbox One Elite controller with Kontrol Freeks. Now, for those of you who are considering purchasing the Xbox One controller or who have already purchased the Xbox One controller and you're wondering about the sizes of the extended sticks that come with it versus your Kontrol Freeks that you've been playing with for a long time, well, hopefully this graph will give you a lot of interesting information. So what exactly are we looking at here? Well, as you know, the Xbox One Elite controller comes with 3 pairs of sticks, one short sticks, which are the normal size, one extended set of sticks, and then there's a domed set of sticks. And then the Kontrol Freek attachments that most of you are familiar with. If you don't know what they are, just do a quick search, you'll figure it out. The standard sizes that those come in are the Ultra, which is the most common one, the Close Quarters Combat, or the CQC, and the Alpha. And Kontrol Freek categorizes these as low rise, mid rise, and high rise. And I know that Kontrol Freek makes other products that are slightly different shapes, and thus they may be a little bit taller, a little bit shorter, but these are the most commonly purchased Kontrol Freeks. These are the ones that most people will have, and thus those are the ones that I'm going to be using in this video. If you have a slightly different one, I'm sure you can just use this to get the idea of more or less what you're going to be getting. But this is just overall information using the most popular ones available. So before I begin going into details about this stuff, I want you to know that I did measure all of these, both the short stick and the extended sticks, with the alphas, ultras, and close quarters combat attached or detached in order to get exact measurements. These are exact measurements. I will also say that if you're interested in kind of comparing and measuring your own stuff, if you do not have an Xbox One Elite controller, you will not get the same measurements as I do. Not because the Xbox One Elite the sizes of the sticks are different, it's just the way that they attach to the controller means that you have to measure them differently. So unless you have an Xbox One Elite, if you try to measure them yourself, you're not going to get the same measurements as I have, but just trust me, these measurements are accurate. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start all the way on the left. The short sticks are the sticks that every Xbox One controller has had since the Xbox was released, and you also get those on the Xbox One. Those are 13/32 of an inch tall, okay? And let's consider that being 100% of the original height, okay? Now, let's go ahead and talk about what most of you have, which is the short stick combined with the Ultra, okay? The FPS Ultra from Kontrol Freek. Now, that is going to give you a 200% height. That is 26/32 of an inch, which is exactly double of the short stick. Okay, so that means that you're actually getting a true doubling of the height. Now, for those of you who are wondering about the extended sticks that come with the Xbox One, they're not exactly doubling the height. As you can see, they're only 170% the original height. They're 22/32 of an inch. And by the way, I know that you can simplify these fractions, but just to keep it easiest for us to kind of understand, I've kept all of the denominations the same. So we're working in one base. So 22/32 of an inch, slightly smaller than 26/32 of an inch, which is actually a true doubling of the stick height. Now, for those of you who don't use the Ultra, you probably use the Close Quarters Combat, or the CQC. And that, described on Kontrol Freek's website, is supposed to be, quote unquote, in between the short stick and the short stick plus and Ultra. And that's actually what it is. It ends up being about 19/32, 19.5/32. I kind of rounded that one a little bit, but just to keep the graph simple. But it is pretty much exactly 150% of the original height, so it's more or less exactly in the middle. And for those of you who are curious about the domed sticks, which I do not include in this graph because they don't work with Kontrol Freeks, just make note of that. The domed sticks coming with the Xbox One Elite do not work with Kontrol Freek. They're not the right size. Those sticks are 19/32 of an inch, so they are exactly as high as a typical short stick combined with the Close Quarters Combat Kontrol Freek. They're exactly the same height, 19/32 of an inch. Now, why do I include the alpha on here? Most of you probably don't even know what the alpha is. It's basically, it widens or increases the diameter of the stick, because the Xbox One has really, really small diameter sticks, and it also has this really rough, kind of scratchy ring around the outside of the stick that's supposed to provide a lot of grip, and it does, except some people have complained that it kind of scratches and it hurts their thumbs. You know, maybe it kind of peels away their skin a little bit and it hurts them. So some people are going to get the Alpha, because it only adds a small amount of height, it only increases it to 130% with a total height of 17/32 of an inch. It increases the height a little bit, but it gives you a lot wider place for you to put your thumb, and it covers up that kind of ring that comes around the Xbox One sticks that some people are irritated by. And I included that one just to be consistent with the graph. But the most important thing I think that's interesting about the Alpha is if you look over here, the extended stick plus an Alpha is actually the same height as a short stick plus the Ultra. Okay, so the extended stick by itself is only 170%, the original height, but the extended stick adding the Alpha is a true doubling of the original height of the Xbox One controller. So that's interesting. The short stick plus the Ultra is the same as the extended stick plus the Alpha. Now I go ahead and added the extended stick plus the close quarters combat and the extended stick plus the Ultra just to give you an idea if you're considering doing some crazy experimentation. One thing that I will mention is that if you're doing any kind of arcade style game, it might be nice to have a really, really tall stick to give you that old school arcade feel. I know that for the Xbox 360, Kontrol Freek made these kind of like spherical red and blue kind of arcade ones, and they don't make those for the Xbox One and the PS4, which is unfortunate. But if you want to more or less replicate that feel, getting an Ultra plus the extended stick will give you 270% the original height of the Xbox One stick, coming in at 35/32 of an inch. So it is actually slightly taller than a full inch. I do want to mention one more thing. If you have a set of Ultras and you're thinking about just using them the way you have since the dawn of man, just attaching them to your short stick and you're good to go, I would highly encourage you to consider switching to the extended stick plus the Alpha. And there's a very specific reason for that. My short sticks on my Xbox One Elite do not feel very good. The magnet doesn't quite stick very well, and so there's a lot of wiggle and play, and it kind of shifts around as I move my thumb across it. And it does not feel very comfortable. It feels loose. It doesn't feel secure and strong. So I chose to go with the extended stick plus the Alpha so that it could have the same height, but it feels way more secure. The extended stick, at least on mine, feels way more secure. It doesn't feel like it's going to wiggle or shake or pop off or anything. So just keep that in mind. And the other reason, and this is a biggie, the short stick plus the Alpha has a higher percentage chance that the Kontrol Freek will actually pop off. Now that didn't happen a lot on the Xbox 360, which is where kind of Kontrol Freek became popular, because the Xbox 360 thumbsticks were actually wider in diameter. The Xbox One, as we all know, they're definitely smaller in diameter, so there's less to grip onto, and the Ultras do have a tendency to kind of pop off. And it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen enough of the time to where, you know, you kind of have to quickly snap it back on and continue shooting or whatever. You know, if you're getting shot from across the hallway or something like that, it can be really annoying. It interrupts your flow in your game. I can guarantee you that the Alpha will not do this, specifically because it's so short. There's not a lot of mass to it, so it's not very like heavy or anything. And it attaches significantly higher on the stick, closer to your thumb. So the amount of pressure is kind of more evenly distributed, and it's less likely to snap the Kontrol Freek right off. The Ultra doesn't happen a lot. It happened to me a couple of times, but for the most part, they've been pretty secure. So, you know, I'm not bashing the Ultra here. I have a pair and I love them, but I will say the Alpha is a little bit better when used with the extended stick compared to the short stick with the Ultra. So there you go. There's a cute little graph showing you a bunch of information. Hopefully you can make an educated purchasing decision if you're considering buying either the Xbox One Elite or some combination of Kontrol Freeks or whatever. This will give you a really good idea of what you're looking for. Thank you for watching so much. I appreciate it, and you guys have a good one. My name is SantiMama, and hit the like button if you like this video. I'll see you guys next time.